Thank you, Anna. So it's not so easy to end the morning. I will do my best. So we made, you and me, made this work on spatial variability. I will go very quickly to the introduction. So I will present the methodology and numerical example and where case studies. So I want to focus on this today. First, the spatial variability plays a significant role in structural reliability. Here you have, I think the pointer here, yeah. You have a beam here submitted to chloride ingress and to corrosion after. And so that's a case we studied with Alan O'Connor from Ireland. And so if you want to compute the structural reliability and the system reliability, you can make a discretization like this. So the question of the spatial variability could be a low spatial variability. So if you have two realizations or two trajectories here, you have only one single random variable, so with one value here, one result here. If you have no correlation, so you have something like that. And if you have correlation, that's something like that. Okay, and if you want, if you compute the quality of corrosion initiation, you will obtain very different results with a very huge gap between the case without spatial variability and the case without correlation. And of course, if you want to be conservative, you are very, very conservative because you are here. So the information about the spatial variability will be between, and the question will be how to assess this spatial variability from structural health monitoring, so how to optimize sensor placement to do that. About the methodology. So first I would like to present some numerical examples based on Monte Carlo simulations. So we have very simple assumptions here for this presentation. A Gaussian stochastic field, so second order stationary, a large number of sensors. So when you look to the first presentation and to the previous one, that's compatible with what we can do. So 20 to 60. That could be placed as the same component, and so sensors measurement as considered as perfect, and random field properties are not affected by loading or deterioration. We don't focus on this here. So just to show you an example of this, here you are inside the concrete, and you have the chloride content that we want to analyze in terms of spatial variability. Here you have in the y-axis, the autocorrelation coefficient. Okay. So you can see that in there, this autocorrelation coefficient is varying. So it's not a constant. So it's a special variable inside the concrete too. So here that's two components. So that's why the results are not the same. It's not the same environment. So to make the simulation, to produce the simulation, the Monte Carlo simulation, we'll use coronal expansion. So we know with the mean value, the standard deviation, and some coefficients. And if we are in these cases, we have the autocorrelation takes this form. So we have an explicit formulation of the eigenvalue and the eigenfunction, where the autocorrelation coefficient here B plays a role in this eigen value. So I will tell more about that. To simulate just a few simulations about trajectories that you have here for several values of B. Okay? And here the corresponding autocorrelation function. So you can see that for B equal to 2 or 0.01, of course you don't have the same shape for the autocorrelation function. So if you have something that is from one trajectory, so you have to take the measurements into account and after to fit an autocorrelation function. So there are several methods. One of these methods is the maximum likelihood, and we make a recent improvement on it, but I will not focus on this point today. The key concept we will use today is the spatial correlation threshold. So what is it? So the main objective will be to reduce the monitoring cost, so to monitor some zones, okay, of a trajectory with sensor separated by a sufficiently short distance to capture the correlation. So this distance is called inspection distance threshold. So that takes this value, this type of form, where this ACT is the spatial correlation threshold. So we have shown that it should be less, so that this correlation should be less than 0.3 to give information about, sufficient information about the correlation. So after that, you have to, that gives a maximum distance between sensors. So just to show you particularly how it works, so here you have, that's a tree approach. So you have here three pieces of the same beam, where we don't have the same number of sensors along this beam. And the objective is to have more information on this part, because that's the most interesting part in terms of fitting, and less, of course, on this part. So that's why we decided to discretize the beam like this. And of course, you can reduce the number of sensors from this discretization. So now we need a quality estimate and optimization. We should find the optimal distribution of sensors that minimizes the error of the estimation of the autocorrelation parameter. Here we assume in this presentation that the mean value and the standard deviation are known, and we focus on B, but of course we have other results for complete identification. So the quality estimate could be something like that. So that's a kind of confidence interval where we state here the errors that we can accept for the estimation of the value. So here that's the theoretical value, and here that's the mean value that we have computed from a trajectory. Okay, and another estimate could be the error on the parameters, so the quadratic errors that we make from experimental values and knowing the theoretical value that has been put in the model. So if we want to optimize the number of sensors and the placement of sensors, we have to maximize this probability inside the confidence interval. So I will go to the numerical example now. So the objective will be to optimize the position of sensors in view to reach a good assessment of this B value. So that means an error of 10%. We have a 1D component where the length is larger in comparison with B. And so we took these values for the mean value and the standard deviation and for the B value. So for spatial correlation threshold equal to 0.4, we have this distance between sensors, this maximum distance between sensors. So we fixed the values of the number of sensors and the length of the structure. So that's what we obtain here. We obtain here the probability of it to be in the confidence interval with the number of pieces. Of course, the number of pieces doesn't change the number of sensors, there's the location of the sensor. So you can see that we obtain here an optimum value. So that the optimum value is not the regular spacing of the sensor, something with two pieces. Okay? You can see here that, of course, this is decreasing this quality, and that is due to the mean value of B that is far from the theoretical value when you increase the number of pieces with a given number of sensors. So if you look to the second estimate, so the errors that we made, we obtain exactly the same result. So the optimum value, the minimum value of the error is for the two pieces. Okay, so the objective now will be to place the sensor, but we don't know exactly what is the spatial correlation of the structure we want to study, because that's the question we were asking. So we have, of course, that's what we do when we have previous information. So we have to know what is the prior information we have on B, but we have to know the errors that we made on it. So for instance, here the real value was 1, and we will test several other values between 0.8 and 1.2. And you can see that even if we start from this assumption for the placement of the sensor, we obtain the same optimization. So that means that two pieces discretization will be sufficient. Now, two study cases to end this talk. The first is about reinforced concrete structures. That's 16 meters long. We keep the same acceptable error here. So we measure water content with a capacitive LET tool, and so it was every 20 centimeters. And so we can, for a given distance between sensors, have these several results. So that's why we are able to produce statistics on it. And here you have the experimental autocorrelation function and the fitted autocorrelation function, from which we can compute B. And here the maximum interval between sensors is 0.5 meters if we want to capture this autocorrelation. So that are the results. So first, I will only focus on the value of the error. You can see that if you increase the number of pieces here, you will obtain an increasing value of the error. So that means that the error is minimum for one piece. So that's the regular spacing of the sensors in that case. So we proved, and we published that in a paper, that for the length of a beam less than 40 times the EET, we have this type of optimization. So you can see here that the numerical value for the numerical fitting for one piece is better than for two pieces. And for another example, so that's a steel sheet tile in France, where we made a ultrasonic inspection of the corrosion deck. So it was 12 meters length, and in that case we obtained that the minimization of the error was for two pieces, and we have shown that it was the case for this type of length. So that's why it depends, of course, of the length of the structure first, and of course of the correlation coefficient of each structure too. So now I arrive to the conclusion. So we think that the spatial correlation can be assessed and sensor placement can be optimized for that. Recent studies on chloride ingress from semi-destructive testing and recent monitoring. So we monitor last weekend a WRF to do that with the specific sensors that we developed to that geophysics-based system that is used to capture this spatial correlation of chloride into a real structure. Some sensors could be developed to do that, and there are some resilient and remaining issues. So that's the identification that should be improved, including for non-stationary fleets. So that we try to do in a regional project. And of course, the full identification, not only the autocorrelation parameter, but the mean value and the standard deviation. So that's not an issue that has been published already. And one of the questions is about the durability indicators for SHM data. So we need for models to capture the information on site and to inverse this information, for instance, to compute the surface concentration of chloride or the diffusion coefficient of the model. And so that means for model, but they are not mathematical. That's not their mathematical function. So they are used for they are used, but it's not completely correct. And we have produced that in a paper that gather output of what we can use from sensor, but input to that can be propagated by the model itself. Another thing is concerns the scale of fluctuation. So this parameter B that could be considered as a random variable. So that's a meta random variable. That's a model uncertainty. And to end, we are very proud to host the next the IAPC conference next year in Nantes. So we will co-organize that with other partners. So I think that we could suggest some mini symposium for that. So there will be, I think, two main visits: a wharf and a floating structure, appropriate floating structure wind turbines that will be installed near Nantes this year. So it will be 1 year study. Okay, thank you for your attention.